Alright, and welcome back to another episode of Forgecraft 2. Still no pedestal to tell me what episode it is, and this time I actually have forgotten. I think we're like 9? Who knows? Anyway, I've finished moving all the stuff. Well, not all of it. There's still a couple of things, like the lightning rod. Steve was experimenting with his own lightning rod. We've found a bug. But I won't cover that because it's something abusable. And crops, the excavator, berry bushes, and the witchery stuff. And still all that's over here. The rest has been moved inside, and I have set up the hydrangeas. I want to talk about this in a second because I need your help. But inside we have all the usual access junk for me doing individual manual crafting and all that junk. And we have the machines, and we have the brick factory, which is currently not running. It can run, I've just got it turned off. But let's go take a look at the Botania stuff. I even made a portal to Alfheim. Didn't take a lot of effort, but I needed it to make Elven mana spreaders because I thought that would solve my problem. But I have a problem, guys, and I don't know Botania that well, and you might be able to tell me. As far as I know, hydrangeas have a problem with neighbours. They're similar to these guys, although I think a little more aggressive because I think they count diagonals as bad as well. So a hydrangea needs to have no neighbours, completely open. If it's diagonal, then they run badly. But as far as I know, they don't check vertically. So you can vertically stack hydrangeas, and they will work as if they didn't have any neighbours whatsoever. Now, the problem that I've run into is, if that is true, this should be performing a lot better than it actually is. And originally I thought it was that the spreader wasn't good enough to collect all the mana, but that doesn't seem to be the issue. And they aren't, it's not flowing water, because as you'll see if I get my bucket, down here at the bottom, it is absolutely source blocks. And the way that I made sure that it was source blocks is I have an aqueous accumulator creating water and a floodgate to put the water into the hydrangea tower. So the problem being that I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hydrangeas, and they appear to be performing worse than I want them to. And I don't know why. So looking at the setup, hopefully someone in the comments can tell me what it is that they think is wrong. And I will take that into consideration and change it, see if it works. Because I would like this to perform better than it is. But anyway, we've got a full mana pool in there because I needed to wait for that thing to fill up before I turned on the brick factory. And it's full as of starting this recording, so I will do that. Active without signal. There we go. Back to work. I also found out that I don't need the barrier, because the item valve seems to be a lot better at picking that clay up than I originally thought. So, no barrier. So today is about building up the hub. This is the hub. I have installed a telepad. Telepad is from Ender.io. A telepad costs, you need 9 times this recipe, so you need 9 staffs of travelling, 9 travel anchors, 9 octatic capacitors, 4 times 9 dark steel, and 2 times 9 fused quartz, or 18 fused quartz. And then you have a telepad. Well, you place it in a 3x3 pattern, and then you get a telepad block. Underneath there, I have a transdimensional transceiver. This thing is transporting it to the other side, and a capacitor which has no way of getting energy at the moment, but it's just there. It's from one of the lightning rod capacitors. So I figure once it runs out I'll just replace it. It's going down slow enough that I don't have to worry about it. But the telepad is now my way of getting to Digger. It stops me from having to deal with Mistcraft Roulette. There's a bug somewhere at the moment which is causing Mistcraft to be a bit derpy. We don't know whether it's Mistcraft itself or a mod interacting with Mistcraft, but it means that sometimes we'll crash if we use a book. So I decided to install telepads instead, which are like 110% cooler anyway, because they do this. Boip. Okay. So now we are ready to make the hub. First things first, we need bricks. Lots and lots of bricks. Looking at the Google Maps, the hub, including this area here, this is not actually the entrance of the building in the real building. The real entrance of the building is here, comes off diagonally from here and comes out as a like a hall building coming out there, and then it has like a gatehouse entry thing at the end of it, like a gate building. It's all inside, but you would walk into the cruciform building like that. And the reason we don't have that on this building is because diagonal buildings suck. I've had to reorganize the internals of this hub area completely in order to accommodate Minecraft's square way of working, because otherwise a lot of the rooms in this part of the building would actually be diagonally shaped, or rather they're box rooms, but they in this configuration would be diagonally aligned. So in order to avoid that, I've had to change completely the layout of the internals of the hub, so we can basically do with the hub what we want. And that's why I've decided to make this the entrance. However, that doesn't mean that I'm going to change the construction of that all too much. But, why am I on this end? I need bricks. Gimme. There they are. Alright. Oh yeah, and while I'm looking at lag happening, I thought I would distinguish what I meant by lag in the last episode. So, someone in the comments, Risky Ken, pointed out that lag is not the same as machine lag. Technically, they're not the same. And that is very, very true. Machine lag isn't actually called machine lag at all. It's stuttering or performance issues or just bad stuff happening to your computer. Lag specifically is talking about, well, used in a technical term, lag is specifically talking about latency, which is true. It's very, very true. On the other hand, colloquially, meaning just through use and evolution of language, there have been several kinds of lag included in the language, which includes machine lag. We now refer to lag of the machine performing badly to be lag, even though it probably shouldn't be called that, but we're calling it that anyway. Second thing is there are multiple kinds of lag, multiple kinds of latency, which I didn't go over. What I meant when I said that there are two kinds of lag is that there are two physical kinds of lag you can experience as a client, Minecraft client, on the server. When you start digging into that, there are multiple kinds of lag. So you have latency, which we talked about, is the communication breaking down or falling out of sync with the client and the server, either through distance or because your internet connection is bad or whatever. But then there's also TPS lag, which is specific to Minecraft. I don't think TPS, ticks per second, which by the way that means, is used in other games, but it is certainly used in Minecraft. And what TPS lag is when all the stuff, yeah, let's just call it stuff, when all the stuff that a server is doing ends up being too much work for it to do. So what TPS lag is it's machine lag for the server. Okay, so when there is too much stuff to do for a computer, you end up with machine lag, right? Some people also call that FPS lag. Basically means your computer's doing too much for what is being demanded of it. And how that appears as a Minecraft client is that the TPS is running poorly. And I can do a thing here, and it will show us that the average TPS is 20, and that is 100% normal. This is a sampler thing that a person wrote in Forgecraft. That person is player, and it samples how the server was doing over a period of time. You could see there the total period it checked was 56.3 milliseconds, and for a max of 324 milliseconds. The active period here was 38 milliseconds. So what the sampler is checking is, did the server struggle at any point, and if it didn't, great. 20 ticks per second is perfect, because the Minecraft clock runs on 20 ticks per second, or roughly 20 ticks per second. I think it's slightly less than or more than, I can't quite remember, but that's Minecraft. So if it's running at 20 ticks per second, you've got a really good server, and our server is running at 20 ticks per second, which is really good news. So any lag you're seeing because of that is probably latency and not TPS lag. And I've had a couple of bits of lag already during this episode. So you have probably come to see latency at work, or what appears to be latency. You can see right now, maybe you can't because the video gets encoded at 30 frames per second, but I'm experiencing a little bit of machine lag right now myself. I'm not sure why. I think it was when I was looking, yeah, it was when I was looking in that direction. And across that direction is a lot of transparent trees and things. They have to get processed, and I would go into detail about why transparency matters, but I won't right now. And so you end up with TPS lag and latency, and that's the things that the server shows up as dealing with. Then you have machine lag, which I explained last time, and you can have TPS lag on your own machine, but only during single player. And the reason for that is because in single player, your computer runs a virtual server to play Minecraft. So that virtual server is using resources and then passing it back to the client, which is all in the same piece of software. That's why it's called a virtual server and not a actual server. So you can experience TPS lag then, but you will never experience TPS lag if you're playing on a multiplayer. Your computer will never experience TPS lag if you're playing on a multiplayer server. And the reason for that is because your computer will only ever receive information that the server has already processed, and nothing more or less than that. If the server manages to somehow send more information than the client is expecting, then the game will crash. It's that simple. The game will crash and you'll have to restart the client, because the client and the server had a mismatch, and the one that fails in that instance, or in most cases, will be the server. The server mean the client. The client will give up first, because it concedes to the server, who is the master, in most cases. There are situations where that's not true, but we're talking about the average. So yeah, there are like 3 different kinds of lag when talking about Minecraft. There are even more than that, but then we're getting like down the rabbit hole. But when I was talking about lag last episode, I was mostly just referring to the physical experience of lag, in which case there are 2. The game running smoothly but not responding on time, or the game not running smoothly and responding on time. So yeah, they're opposites of each other in that way. Now I've gone and started building into the wing accidentally. I'm actually going to cut that off so I don't accidentally get into a rhythm of going into that. Cool. So we're starting to see the hub form here, which is cool. What I'm going to be doing, I think, is once we've built up the walls and stuff, cutting some walls into these diagonal sections. I think originally in the floor plan, when I adjusted this hub section, I'd already planned to put in like my own windows into the diagonal sections, but I don't think I ever did it. So when I did the floor plan here, I didn't include anything for windows. So we will cut our own into it. That's fine. But we need to do that. And I'm going to cut that off here. It's very easy to just keep following the line around, which is why I've managed to build myself into the into the wings a little bit. 1, 2, 3, good. But here we go. And we're almost to floor level. And then we're going to have to start working on the inside. This is a nice flat open area rather than these which are long and wide. It's a bigger square space with a lot of internal stuff in it, so it'll be a lot more interesting to build over and over again, because again it's going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. The hub is actually quite a bit taller than this section. Where the roof starts right here, the hub goes up like 1.5 more levels, and then the roof starts. So it's quite a bit taller. But until we get to this line, the hub is pretty uniform, just like the rest of this building is. So we can pretty much just repeat the same pattern. Once we have what the first floor looks like, we can just repeat the floor up and up, except obviously this gateway, which is unique to the bottom floor on this section of the hub. So where are we? I also noticed while I was talking away that I could actually be using our good friend the Builder's Wand to do things a lot quicker. There we go. All I really want to do is be at or above the floor line, which this is the floor line right here. Need some amount of brick. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So, +1? Yeah. +1. And much like our friend here, it's going to be bleached bone with brick at the bottom. Now, it's not necessarily going to be all bleached bone with brick. right throughout the thing, and it's not necessarily going to be all marble. But those are details we can change going forward, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to build up the building as quickly as we can to get the main structure. Then we start fiddling around with small details and stuff. That's the idea, at least. Like, we do want to determine where windows and stuff are going to be in the building. And we should do that now, actually, before we go any further. I reckon they could be... I think they're going to be like the ends and be single diagonals. And skip like 2 and do another one. Yeah, that's good. So 3 windows there. And that'll repeat all the way to the top. Well, all the way to that line. And then things start to change. And this will be a double window. Make that work. Make it work it. I guess we could put a window here too, which would include... See, part of the problem is I've done bits on the building that really shouldn't actually be filled up, which is specifically, you'll see that I've got this marked out in brick, but when the walls are up, this is just a hollow gap, and there's no need to put material in there either, because it's just going to be covered in the end. So I shouldn't have bothered to fill that in the first place, so I actually need to get rid of that line as well. So now I can make out where the window should be. It should be right here. Cool. And what does that line even do? Right, so it does need to exist up here, but not anywhere else. It can be removed from this point down. Okie dokie. So now we get on with doing the bleached bone part, which is pretty simple because we still need to work with brick for this. And around the windows, that's actually something that I have to change on the fly. Because we want... Because if we did that, the gap would be too wide. It would look very strange. Even though it kind of still does look a bit strange. Might want to do something like that instead. But we will see. It's easier to tell going around this way. And where there is diagonal hallways in this build, we will be using carpenter's blocks to smooth that out. So I've got one over here. So we'll be using carpenter's blocks to make this hallway more smooth rather than having these jaggy little bits. Should probably keep myself going along the same line. Once the walls are up on the first floor, we'll actually get a feel for what it'll be like on the inside, which is always a nice feeling. Even if we don't stick the floor on the top immediately. Okay. And then I think what I'm going to do is because we are running out of time on the episode, I managed to ramble on for long enough. As the episode you come back, I will have made some changes to the building. In fact, I would have done the hub all the way to the point where I need to put the roof on it, much like I did with this wing. And which means you're going to miss me doing the unique changes to the couple of floors that are past this point. But once we come back next episode, I will walk you through what the changes are and how I did them. So you won't miss out there. Don't worry about that. I'm trying to make sure that you guys get to see all the fun bits. And there will be live streams in the future, but I won't be doing them on YouTube streaming service. I just worry that YouTube is far too aggressive for streaming on, and I'd rather go with the more relaxed approach of Twitch. So I'm going to stick to using Twitch for now. If there is any like super huge demand for me to do it on YouTube, I may think about it, but it'll have to be pretty major. Like most of my viewers will have to want to watch it on YouTube. But yeah, I think that's a fair thing for me to say. The reason being is just that YouTube makes certain things more difficult, and I'd rather not have to deal with that difficulty where I don't have to. So I hope you can forgive me for taking that kind of hardline approach there. Okay. I think we are ready to start putting the bleached bone on, which is nice. We just have to walk in here now that we've moved in. I still need to put the lighting up. I still have not decided what the lighting will be because we're still just focused on doing the making sure that the walls and stuff go up. Kind of doing it in the same order that somebody would actually construct the building in the first place. I need something, there we go, because I don't want to fill my inventory up with it. And E3 still has no way of changing that. It will, eventually, but Barma's a busy man. There we go. Right, let's start putting this on. It's like how I haven't done any of the carpenter stuff or anything on these buildings, right? Like, that stuff is going to be toward the end of the build, in fact. Just because it consumes a lot of time doing little fiddly details like that, which is why the roof isn't on either. It's because like it wouldn't make for a very good episode, just sticking carpenter's blocks on things for a start. But then you've also got the issue of it being the same thing over and over and over again. You know, I just don't want to torture you guys. And no, I'm not going to do all of this bleach bone manually like this. This is just the first layer, so I can then use the builder's wand. No, not you. Alright. 3, 2, 2. Why is that 3, 2, 2? I've done something with you, haven't I? Yeah. You are going to be a different window then. I counted wrong. Cool. That's fine by me. And again, even though I've put brick here, this is going to be the same situation where the sand is on top, so I'm going to go back and turn those into micro blocks. But it just makes it easier for me to mark it right now. Nearly there. Then I guess we want to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 actually, but whatever. 2, 3, 4. As you can see, the magnum torch will be like buried somewhere. If that's at floor height, you won't even see it actually, because it'll be surrounded by flooring. And the magnum torch works regardless of vision. It won't provide light when it's blocked, but it will provide spawn-in protection. So I need a lot more bleach bone than I brought. Give to me as well. The power of E3 means that I can be as wasteful as I want. Which, by the way, isn't going to be permanent. I'll let Parma explain that part, because I don't know whether that's common information or not. But it's not going to work the way that it's working now, put it that way. Oh, I did miss a spot with the bleach bone. Missed a couple of spots actually. Right. Yeah, someone in the comments asked me whether I use the builder's wand or not. I absolutely do. There's no way I'm going to build something this big without being able to place objects quickly like this. That would be silly. People have done it in the past, obviously, because people who play vanilla don't have that ability. And one such place to go and take a look at is the Middle Earth server. Just Google it. It's pretty cool. How did I manage to do that? The Middle Earth server, Middle Earth Minecraft server. It's amazing. All hand built in vanilla. You will love it, I guarantee. And if you think this build is epic, there is some stuff on that server that just blows the mind. They have, for example, for those of you that know your Tolkien, they have built Isengard. They have built Minas Tirith. Minas Tirith will blow your mind. They have built the Mines of Mordor. Now, a lot of that stuff obviously has to be isn't like this, where they have a full-on floor plan to work from. A lot of that stuff they just have to wing it. But my god, it will just blow your mind. And even if you can't get on the server, they do allow people to just come on the server and take a look. But even if you can't get on the server, they have a website and it has all the screenshots and things, and there's even videos of what they've done on the server. It will just, yeah, if you think I'm a good builder, the people on that server, and they do it without the builder's wand, and they do it without micro blocks, and they do it without all the nice things that we have in modding. But go enjoy that. I highly, highly recommend it. Wonder if I made a mistake, because this is floor height. I think I have made a mistake. No, I haven't, because it'll be bleached bone all the way up. It shouldn't be any instances where it shows through the floor, is what I am thinking. Okay, I suppose I should talk about a little bit of channel news before I wrap up. You've probably noticed that the schedule has been pretty good on the channel since I've moved, but in the recent couple of days it's been a bit spotty, and the reason for that is because I ran out of backlog material, and I've been having a couple of tricky days recently. Nothing to worry about, so don't worry about that, but they've just been a little more challenging last couple of days. So it's been difficult for me to keep on track with one video a day at least without a backlog that exists. But don't worry, I'm still here and still active and still trying to make things work. Yeah. 3? Well, I guess it's 3 because I'm accidentally in the floor line. I can just go around with the exchanger and change that to marble as well if I want to. But in a second, I'll stop flying about like a moron and show you what this will look like running through the halls. 1, 2, 3. Too many doorways. Oh yeah, hate doing this stuff. Cool. Huh, how did I miss that? Yep. Did I miss any doors? Yes, I did. Now, they're not necessarily all going to be 3 high doors either, because Minecraft doors are, of course, 2 high. But for now, they're all equal. All treated equally, until I have, again, a better idea of what I want to do as far as details. That and that. And that's going to be a multi-part. Oh, one over here. Okay, so without a roof on it, you should be able to get a good idea of how the way this building's going to work. So say I wanted to go to this wing, right? I come through here, I'd go through here, I'd hang a right, and you could probably say that maybe I should put a door here or something, but we'll see. And then I'd go through here, and the reason I say we'll see is I can do that, but is it more interesting having cool architecture, or should I go for efficiency and build a door there? The other thing is that I want to put the staircases to the other floors here and here. So you'll basically walk through this door and it'll be a staircase. So that's the idea at least. But yeah, we can take a run around in here now. Looks kind of like an old FPS level. Can see outside, go into that wing, come through, and maybe I want to go into whatever I've decided this room to be. and then go back to the north wing. It's not too bad, I don't think. It's a nice big area too, fun to run through. She says as she starts to take off and fly. So yeah, we've got an idea of how that's going to go. So this whole thing is going to be repeated 1, 2, 3, 4 more times, and then things start to change. So there's going to be a lot of the same architecture on every floor at the moment, and again some of that may change because the needs of each floor might change, but for now it's all going to be repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to the top every time. Over here, over here, over here, and it'll just look cool, and then we'll just change the building as we need it. So anyway, I think that does it for this episode. Thank you all for watching as usual, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.